Hi, this is Brennan Davis from Bedrock Games and the Bedrock blog, and today I'm going to be talking about rulings in Wandering Heroes of Ogregate, particularly how they apply to kung fu techniques. This came up because I have a number of people that have, sort of been giving me feedback and helping me as readers, as playtesters. I have one person in particular who's been really sort of closely following the project and giving me a lot of really useful feedback. And sometimes when people do that, they ask questions for clarification. And whenever people ask me questions about kung fu techniques, I make a point of first asking myself, do I want to even give like an official answer on this? And the reason for that is we set up the kung fu techniques to be approached as rulings by the GM. Now, they have clear text in there that says what they do, and it's expected that the GM is going to abide by that text. But what we don't do is we don't go beyond that and issue a bunch of qualifiers or caveats and clarifications. So it won't say you can use it to do this but not this, or if combined with this technique it has this effect, or it cannot be combined with this technique for this reason. We don't do that. And again, the reason is the assumption in the game that we state in the rule book is the GM should apply common sense, what the GM thinks is a fair and reasonable use of the rule, and what the GM believes the spirit of the text is. I think that's the most important thing. I think when you run into problems is when players and GM start approaching the text as kind of like a law case where it's about finding the loophole in the way that it's worded. And really what we want to emphasize, no, it's about the spirit of the language, not the language itself. We do try to be clear, but it's it's very difficult to account for all possibilities with the brief amount of text, and because we want to keep things short, the GM is expected to kind of go in there and say, okay, this is clearly how it's supposed to be used in this case, or this is what I think, and we find that that's what works best, at least at our table. And we have a pretty diverse group of people in terms of play style. So we have folks that are, more on sort of the rules and more on the rulings end. We have folks that are more into story, more into, acting out as their character kind of thing. But when I was running it, the more that I leaned on really hashing out all the details and the techniques, the worse things got. The more we allowed it to kind of get pared down, and for me to just sort of, look at the technique and say, okay, what's the spirit here? How is this supposed to, what's the intention? And again, it's me. I should know my own intention, but I'm just trying to go by the text. And so, by taking that approach, it just worked way better than when we had longer entries for the kung fu techniques. And so our goal became, rather than expand the text, rather than add to the text, we wanted to bring it down. We wanted to cut it down as much as possible. So the ideal kung fu technique in Wandering Heroes of Ogregate is one line of flavor, 1 to 2 sentences of mechanical description, and one sentence dealing with how to use it in the high power cathartic mode, which is sort of like when you just go full blast on the thing. Once in a while, I don't mind another line of text to sort of, if there's a requirement for using the technique. So if it's a venom technique and you have to actually have venom or something, then that's, I'm okay with that. But basically, I like to keep it really short. Some of the techniques are longer than that. I wish they were shorter, but there were a few where we just kind of had to build them up a bit due to their specific natures. So we allowed those as exceptions. But the rule is, 1 sentence of description, 2, maybe 3 sentences of mechanical, this is how the thing works, and then, a single line for the cathartic. And again, that I find works way better. And when I do the rulings thing, I don't set it as a precedent. I don't say, okay, I've ruled on it in this case, so that means in every future case, it's going to be done this way. And the reason I don't do that is because once you set precedent, you have to recall precedent, you have to record it, and it starts becoming a legalistic thing. So my approach has been everything is case by case. And if that means once in a while you make a slightly different decision on something, I think that's okay. I don't happen to notice it diminishing the enjoyment of the game. I think the game would greatly be diminished for me if every single precedent was recorded and we had to keep track of them. That would really be, for me, that would be like hell. So again, this is the approach we took, and we took it because this game is, I think, more robust than some of our other games, and it's definitely not rules light, but I wanted to still kind of have that spirit of, there are rules here. There's a lot of tools that you can use, but we don't want it to get too bogged down. And granted, with when you're using discrete kung fu techniques like this, you are going to. It is more complicated. I can't go out there and say this is a rules light, streamlined, like it's lightning fast. No, that's not the system we built. We built a system that relies on individual kung fu techniques that the players have to sort of keep track of and be aware of the effects when they use them, and the GM has to keep notes on them for his NPCs, and has to at least be able to look them up quickly. If a kung fu technique comes up that hasn't been used. I am looking into putting out some cards and things like that. I think that'll really make things easier for people. But in the meantime, the thing that really keeps that working smoothly is by not setting precedents around them, not filling up the entries with a lot of detailed points of clarification. So again, that is that was our approach that we took. Once it comes out, I'll certainly be interested in hearing what people think about it, and I'm going to try to put out whatever tools I can to make things easier for people. One thing that I will say that's been helpful for us is in this day of of computers and iPads and and phones and everything, it's so much easier now if you have a PDF to search an individual item. So all it takes is having one player with an iPad who can keyword search, kick at the golden elephant, and instantly we have the information. So it's not, I don't think it's as difficult as it used to be anyways, but I do still want to keep things flowing smoothly, and I don't want people looking stuff up every single time. So that was our approach. And again, we did make that chapter public domain, so people that want to take a different approach can. If you want more robust, detailed descriptions of techniques, you can make it that way. If you think we go in too detailed, you can make your own sort of simpler, faster version. That's an aspect of this game that I'm really excited about, and I'm curious what people will do. I feel like there are smarter, more creative people out there than me, so why not just give them the tools to make their own customized versions. So again, we'll see what happens. But I do think that it can, when people open up the game, they may see the page count and assume that this is meant to be run legalistically, and that is not the case. We try to make it clear in a number of sections of the book that this is really about the GM applying logic and common sense, and that's really sort of your first step in anything in the game. So I hope this is helpful. And again, if you think I'm wrong or disagree, or want to know why why we took this direction, you think it's a bad direction, let me know. I don't mind hearing that from folks. It's actually useful information. I won't probably respond much because, again, I don't want to give people a sense that I'm going to be coming down on them if they say something I don't like. So my approach with all this has usually been to just note the observation by the person, and then I weigh it the way I would weigh anything I see. I'll go to my group and I'll say, hey, this person pointed this out, what do you think? And then I'll kind of get a sense of what other people are telling me in terms of feedback, and if it seems to be, it's just this one person, then I usually don't pay attention. So if somebody makes a suggestion, it doesn't end up having a result, that's the reason. It's not that your idea is bad, it's just that you might be the only person that I'm hearing from, and so I can't really incorporate something based on that. I need more. So, but if I'm hearing it from tons of people, then I know I got something that I might need to address. So again, that's a whole side issue. Maybe I'll do a separate blog post on that. But for right now, I'm just curious about your thoughts on rulings and rules and how one might approach that with things like kung fu techniques. So I will talk to you later. And in the meantime, anybody who's a wuxia fan, you might want to check out the Shaw Brothers Universe website. I was just over there, and it looks like they're building up a nice collection of Shaw Brothers movies with links to where you can get them online. They didn't pay me to say that. I was just on there and I noticed it and I thought it was kind of cool. I don't know how much they're going to be expanding it. It's the I believe it's run by Celestial Pictures, but I'm not 100% sure. And right now they don't have everything. It's not like they have the whole Shaw Brothers collection from what I can see, but they have a sizable, in the, I don't know, when I was there it looked like maybe 30 or so, but I could be way off. I'm bad at estimating numbers like that. So yeah, but I'll provide some updates. I wrote them a message to see with some questions, and if I hear back from them, I may do a separate video post on the subject, because I really want to, I know I'm here to talk about RE8, but I really am excited to see the reactions to just wuxia in general on this channel. So I really want to help keep the interest there and give people tools so that they can find this stuff online. So all right, I will talk to you later and have a great day.